The chairman of the Republican National Committee, Reince Priebus, joins us now live. Reince, thanks very much for joining us.
Hey, thank you, Wolf. Appreciate it.
So why isn't the speaker yet ready to endorse Donald Trump?
Well, I think, it's very sincere in that most people, and I think even Donald Trump would agree with this, people thought this thing had another 30 days in it, and I guess people were hoping that they were going to be able to kick the tires a little bit longer and get their talking points and their positions straight by the time it happened, and suddenly it happened. And so now a lot of folks are just faced with the position of, hey, I want to get to know Donald Trump. I want to see if we're on the same page on a few things. Today was a great day for that to happen between Paul Ryan and Donald Trump, and I can only describe it as extremely positive. And if you saw Paul Ryan's press conference afterwards, I think that pretty much says the whole story. It was a very encouraging day for the party.
Yeah, he said it was a great meeting, too, and they did issue that joint statement at the same time. But he also said, the speaker, that he still has to get, in his words, into the weeds on several sensitive policy issues where he clearly disagrees with Donald Trump. And he and his aides have spoken of some of these issues. Here's Donald Trump articulating positions that clearly the speaker doesn't like. Listen to this.
I'm the king of debt. I love debt.
This is the United States government. First of all, you never have to default because you print the money. I hate to tell you, okay?
We're out of control. We have no idea who's coming into our country. We have no idea if they love us or if they hate us. We have no idea if they want to bomb us. Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. And some, I assume, are good people. I will build a great, great wall on our southern border, and I will have Mexico pay for that wall. Mark my words. Folks, we're going to build the wall, believe me.
I know you're not going to give us all the details, what happened behind closed doors, but did they resolve some of those significant differences during the course of your nearly 1-hour meeting today?
Well, let me just suffice it to say that there was a whole lot of agreement on most issues, and so there was a whole lot more they agreed on than disagreed, and I think that's why it was such a positive meeting. I think you've seen Donald Trump even kind of clarify some of the that you've just run in that montage. So I think you're seeing a person that is starting really to move into the general election mode and getting it and really working hard at being someone that can unify the party, but also going after Hillary Clinton. And I don't think that we're going to have to worry about Donald Trump pulling any punches against Hillary Clinton.
What did he clarify?
Well, I'm not going to get in. I hate to spoil the fun, Wolf, but I'm not going to get into the details because that wouldn't be really my role, and I have to respect the confidences of the meeting. I can just tell you that there was a lot of agreement on almost all things that were discussed, but they're going to continue talking, and it was a cooperative, good-spirited meeting with good chemistry, and I can just tell you I don't think it could have turned out any better.
Apparently, Donald Trump charmed a lot of people, a lot of Republicans in Washington today, if you listen to some of the statements from people who have emerged from those meetings. But as you know, just a few days ago, he issued a statement saying he couldn't necessarily support the speaker's agenda. That was a pretty bold statement after the speaker told Jake Tapper he couldn't necessarily yet endorse Donald Trump. So the question is, what happens next? Where do you guys go from here?
Well, it's going to be up to the speaker and Donald Trump, Wolf, but I do know that they're committed to working together quickly, perhaps even as soon as tomorrow or the next day, and getting some more conversations started between the two of them. And I know that they're both committed to that, and that's a positive thing as well. But it's now in their hands, and my role is to do whatever I can within the realm of reason to build and unify and bring people together, and I think today was a good start of that.
Can Donald Trump win over some of the key groups that you're the Republican leader, you have to win over to recapture the White House? Women, minorities, young people. Does he have that ability nationwide to go find those supporters?
Well, I think he's got the ability, and we also have the ability here at the RNC. I mean, that's why we're trying to put 10 people every 10 blocks in Black and Hispanic and Asian communities, with people that are working around the clock and getting to know voters, talking about issues that we believe in, registering voters, identifying turnout, all the mechanics. I know a lot of the boring stuff, but this is what a competent national party does. And then, obviously, tone and tenor matter, and I think Donald Trump understands that too, and that's something that also has to continue. And so I'm confident that people understand what needs to get done, and I'm looking forward to that happening.
So you think he could bring in some of those minority voters?
Absolutely. I mean, you look at the turnout across within our own primary. I know it's not transferable to a general, but certainly you see that, and you see that promise in Black and Hispanic communities. Now, I think as a party we've done much better, and if you look at 2014, how we did in Colorado with Cory Gardner, almost winning the Hispanic vote, 28% of the Black vote in Ohio. It didn't just happen on its own. We worked hard at that, and we just have to do better as a party. I'm committed to it. It's one of my cornerstones as chairman, is to be committed on a year-round basis to reaching out to Black and Hispanic voters, and I want to do better. I've worked hard to try to do better, and I'm hoping that this fall will be an improvement.
One final question, because I know you got to run. On the whole issue of funding the campaign, he almost completely self-funded his primary effort. He managed to win the Republican, for all practical purposes, presidential nomination. But where do you, as the leader of the Republican Party, and he work together now, you're going to have to raise, what, $1 billion? How do you do that?
Well, I don't know what the number is going to be, Wolf. I mean, we didn't raise that through the RNC during the Romney campaign. It's been going on through for 18 months, not self-funded. So I don't know what the number is going to be, but usually you have a joint fundraising agreement where you take the amount of money that a campaign can raise and the amount of money the party can raise, which is a much bigger number, and you combine those two buckets and some other entities, and you come up with one joint fundraising agreement that you file with the Federal Election Commission, and that's all negotiated and discussed, and we're actually in the middle of that right now.
Reince Priebus, who's got a tough job as the chairman of the Republican National Committee. Reince, thanks very much for joining us.
You bet. Thanks, Wolf.
Thank you.